it's me, Heckraiser. How the heck are ya? Welcome to my garage. It's full of old windows because I can't stop starting projects, you like? Anyway, today I'm going to show you how to make a fun ooey gooey toxic waste barrel out of an old 55-gallon steel drum. It's fresh and clean and ready for spray painting. I've got Krylon Fluorescent green for the slime and pink because it's fun and girly. The star of the show is this can of Great Stuff Sealant foam. I got it at Lowe's. It's going to make the toxic waste that oozes out of the barrel. It's cold as balls out here, but artists don't stop even if they can't feel their fingers, so let's get to painting. I just need to get the cap off first. Well, this is awkward. Phoning a friend, because I'm too cute for the struggle. And it's Kyle to the rescue! Surely the man hands will do it. Nope. Teamwork? Yes? Yes? Nope. Aw, thanks Kyle. Now we can finally paint. I got this barrel from an old maple farmer and he was selling them for 20 a piece, which is a steal. I kinda wish I would have bought more, but what would I have done with them? Normally, when I think of toxic waste barrels, I think of the bright yellow ones like the candies, but I chose pink because it's going into my lab and I wanted it to give toxic diva energy. So there's this hole. I'm not sure I should have sealed it, but I want the ooze to hang off the side like it's leaking. I'm gonna spray over it because I want the other side to stay smooth and flat as a table. Also, make sure you wear gloves when applying this. You definitely don't want this stuff on your skin. And of course, I didn't read the labels. And did I mention it's freezing out here? Apparently, the foam only works well if it's over 40 degrees, so it blasted out like my ass after Taco Bell. I went inside for a bit to warm the can up in hopes that that would help, but luckily it still expanded fine, just not as fast. Which actually worked out in my favor because after struggling for like 10 minutes with the straw, I removed it and just used it like a can of whipped cream. I will admit though, it does make a bit of a mess, but because it was cold out and taking longer to expand and dry, I was able to manipulate it for the look I wanted. I took a paper towel and just smushed everything in place and added lots of bubbling texture. It was such a mess honestly, so if I were to ever do this again, I would wear disposable gloves because I'm still picking foam off the ones I've got on now. I'm gonna be honest, I was just kind of winging it and hoping for the best. The foam dripped off to the sides unintentionally, but I was hoping that it would all work out after expanding. My impatient ass decided, oh, now's the best time to spray the green, but it wasn't even dry yet. I had no idea if the paint would affect the drying process and prevent it from doing its thing, but it's too late now. The paint actually smoothed out the texture a bit and made it look even gooier. I was laying it on thick and heavy so that the paint would actually just dye the foam throughout, and while it was dripping, it was starting to finally look like a toxic sludge. When it comes to spray painting textures, you've got to go at it from all angles to fully saturate it. I did not want it to have any white or yellow showing. Ugh, the sludge turned out so cool, with tons of texture and color variation throughout. There's dark bits and light bits. It just looks so real and fun. But we'll see how it turns out when it fully dries and expands. Ta-da! I let it sit for a couple days and this is what it looked like fully dried. I absolutely love it! So many more bubbles, but I made quite a mess. So I'm gonna use this sandpaper to scrape off the excess. I did this off camera because I thought it was going to be intense, but it was actually quite easy. The foam just peels off smoothly and I had my own little ASMR moment. And obviously there's now some color loss, so I'm going to go over it again with another layer of green paint. And again, spraying from all angles because I can't help but be a perfectionist. I took another can of pink spray paint and went over the whole drum again because I couldn't tell if the black showing underneath looked cool or not, but I also wanted to clean up some of the sanded scratches and the green that sprayed over. If you like the thinner paint look, I'd recommend only one can of pink paint, but if you want your barrel to have a bolder color, definitely get two. But I guess it just depends on the color you choose and what the original drum looks like. Our special guest SpongeBob stopped by to help me get pink paint in between the foam bits. The green spray paint over the original pink gave it a muddy color, and I think taking that extra time to clean things up will make a huge difference. Alright, here it is! Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed! It wouldn't be a toxic waste barrel without some industrial lettering, of course. I've got some black craft paint, a brush, and a bowl to trace the radioactive symbol. If painting by hand isn't your strong suit, I'd recommend using any resources you have to trace. It's just going to make that process much easier and quicker for you. But if you can paint a perfect circle, then F you. Why are you even watching me right now? When it comes to hand painting, I'm one of those people who has to completely lock in. I find this process to be intimidating, and it was something that I was procrastinating on for quite a while. The best thing about metal, in my opinion, is that it is very forgiving. If you mess up, the acrylic paint is super easy to wipe clean, and while I'm not the perfect painter, I find comfort in the process of smoothing out the lines with a wet paper towel. I found some poster letters at Dollar General for like $3 and mapped out the top to say danger and the bottom to say toxic. I then took some black paint water and painted over the letters to give myself an outline to paint within. I relied heavily on some Google images of blocky industrial lettering to get the look just right. I was constantly looking down at my phone for reference. If a random woodland creature comes in to harass you, just boop that snoot approximately 12 times and they'll leave you alone for a while. He kept coming back to tell me that I was doing a terrible job, and he was hovering over my shoulder for the last half of the painting process. Personally, I don't like being micromanaged, but what can you do when your boss is a jerk? The rest of the radioactive symbol was quite easy. I traced a cut for the center circle, and I freehanded the rest based off of a reference photo. Essentially, just paint a horizontal line from the center, and then an X symbol to map out the 3 black triangles. Make sure to round out each corner and leave about ½ an inch of space between the center circle and the outer circle. Then, just fill it all in. Wet Q-tips are everything to me. I went over all the edges with them until all the letters and symbols had fresh, crisp lines. Paying attention to detail is so important for a finished look. And we're done! Wow, look at that. So cool, so gross. What kind of weirdo made that? Wow. This is my very first finished prop. I can't wait to take it to art shows to draw people into my booth, and it'll be a fun way to display some type of big monster sculpture on top. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I will see you later. Bye!